to another session. Khoj Gurbani, Ravinder Singh here from Columbus. Today we are concluding the discussion on Hukam with a presentation from Gurjeet Singh Virji in Australia. Gurjeet Singh ji, are you all set? Ready?
हाँ जी वीर जी
Changa ji, it's all yours.
ठीक है जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की
Ji ki
फतेह.
fateh.
So it has been a wonderful experience sharing the ideas on Hukam from various speakers. So I will try to share what my understanding is, and in the meantime, if we can answer some questions on that understanding as well. So we start with the Hukam, and Hukam originates from Hakam, or we say Hukam. One of the meaning could be command, and if there is a command, there has to be a commander. We'll try to address if within Gurbani is there any clear distinction given about. We talk more about Hukam, which of course is the command, but there is also some mention about the commander. So if you look in the normal life, what happens is the Hukam could be described as, all these are synonyms of Hukam. You can understand it either as an order or instruction, as a direction, requirement. So it's not one meaning as such. We could understand it depending upon our understanding. But the Pagat say it Hukam because for them, it must be obeyed at any cost. There is no, it has to be obeyed. It is obeyed as well, but they have obeyed it with positive sort of idea that yes, whatever is happening is very much coming from there and we accept it. So they never ever uh, cried against it or they were in a state of shock or something. They never did it. They always accepted it as a will and they carried on. And this is what they ultimately instruct us as well, that Hukam is very multi-dimensional and it's not easy for the Jeev to understand. But if you accept this idea that everything is happening in a Hukam, you could never go wrong. So three things I'll try even in a general life. If there's a commander, he has authority to exercise his authority. Then he issues command and is like an order. And then the command has to be relayed. In the olden times, I put a photo. There's, if you see even on the GT road in India, every some distance there are basically these points where you could see that the message used to be relayed through drums. If it starts from one end of the kingdom, the drummers were like, like the teletext thing. They will beat the drum and the message pass from one, the other one listens and then relays it. But the order was coming from the king and then it was being further relayed to other people. Same way the order coming through Sachkhand or through the Hakam is relayed to us as well. But here the media is slightly different. So what sort of media is being used? And I'm mostly talking about the Hukam relating to us. The Hukam is related to both sentient and non-sentient because we are trying to understand at sentient level. So I'll try to propagate an idea from Gurbani how I think it is, or as per my understanding, how the Hukam is propagated to us. So this is what is indicated, that it is coming through as Anhat Bani. What you call the closest is unstuck melody. And this is like a feminine word. Then there's a Nirmal Shabad. That's in a masculine sense. They both mean same. This is how we have been told by the Bhagats who has been in contact with the Shabad. Then they further give us this idea through Gur Shabad. The Anhat Bani and Nirmal Bani is the Naam, which we call Naam ke Tare Sagle Jant. But that instruction is only heard by those specially blessed one. This is a revelation. The revelation is further converted into the language, either through message, a verbal message, or through a written message comes to us. That is Gur Shabad. So the Gur Shabad is giving an information about the Shabad Guru or Anhat Bani or the Naam. That is actually the Naam. So Hukam is also a Naam, Hukam is also Anhat Bani, Hukam is also Nirmal Shabad. It will have more synonyms as well. So how we relate to it, that we read the Gur Shabad, we understand, and then after understanding, if we agree to, if we accept it, then we will ultimately be on a path to listen, to be in contact with the Nirmal Shabad or the Anhat Bani. There's also an indication that within this body there is another body that is known as Naundarwaje is the outer body, the physical body. Dasme Naundarwaje, Dasme Mukta. But there is a door for the non-physical body, which is the spirit. When our surat or consciousness enters into there, it attains mukti. It only enters when it attains mukti. And they also say mukta dwara sankura, that the mind is so big, it can't really enter it that easily. It has to follow the instructions of Gurbani, the Gur Shabad. And then what happens is, Nau Darwaje Dasme Mukta, Anhad Shabad. It's also known as Anhat, it's also known as Anhad. Shabad Vajavaniya, then he could hear there. Then he's in contact and he could comprehend that this is what is happening. But there is an effort. You have to bring your surat out of the 9 doors, then concentrate it into the 10th one, and then the game begins. So we can be in contact with that Shabad, with that Anhat Bani, with that Anhad Bani, or Naam ke Tare Sagle Jant, the Naam, through the instructions from Gur Shabad or Gurbani. So Gurbani's importance lies in that point, that it helps us to be in contact with the ultimate Shabad, the pure Shabad, the Naam Niranjan. Okay, we normally have addressed this question. I will address it as per my understanding, that Kiv Sachiara Hoiya, Kiv Kuda Tutta Pal. So there is one part in us which need to go into a pure state. The other part is okay, but because of this, we are stuck in the 3 loks here. So, Kiv Sachara Hoiye, and the answer is also given within Gurbani. If we look at the answer is this on page 140. Now Padiye. So even this written text is also known as now. But this is not Nirmal Naam, because this is written with a pen using an ink and the media in Maya. So now Padiye, this is the first step. We have to read Gurbani. Now Bujiye. The second step is that we realize it, we comprehend it. Gurmati Vichara. The understanding or everything has to be done within Gurmat. The Gurmat has put some checks on it. If our understanding is not right initially, there will be some Shabads which will try to mend it, and we can go backwards and forward and try to mend that this is what was said. So this is a constant process. This is known as Shabad Vichar. The Shabad Vichar engages the mind, bring him into the Hirda, and then what happened? Gurmati Namtan Khatya. So this is a Namtan which we have obtained. This is actually Gyan. We have known, we have gathered the knowledge about ourselves, what we are. And this is what Bhakti is. And then this Bhakti keep on accumulating. And this is what we get the mukti from. So Mukt Padarth is Bhakti Pandar. And then at the next stage, what happens? When he enters the 10th gate, Nirmal Naam Manya Dar Sache Satyara. The Satyarapan happens at that point when he has attained enough knowledge and then he's acting on the knowledge. He's constantly in a state of Shabad Vichar, then he's accepted. When he will be accepted, it's not in our hand. This is all bakshish. Whatever he read, honestly has accepted it, but the real grace comes in the Karam Khand. It comes from the Hukam itself, through the Hukam. Then there is another example we can take. Sach rate se nirmale haume taji vikara. That's the first step. That if we want to get attached to the Shabad Guru, we have to leave haume and all other vikars which are associated with our mind. Then what happens is that once we have done that, you are nirmal now, you are ready to obtain the naam. Jis tu mile. This is now Parbrahm. So tud mile. Now it's because his grace. So is Satyara. So the Satyara is the one who is now in contact with Parbrahm through the Shabad. So the effort starts from Gurbani. We have to act on Gurbani, accept it, leave the home, and then the next step is now we are sitting at our state, whatever we could do possibly, and then there will be a state of kirpa, the bakshish, that will basically take us into, absorb us into the Shabad. So then there was another question which normally is in Japji Sahib, asked, Hukam Arzai Chalana Nanak Likhya Nal. So let's try to see if, as per what my understanding about this is, why we should be walking in the Hukam. Because there is an incentive. The Gurbani tells us, Hukam Arzai Jo Challa. If someone walks, so pave khajana. Where is the khajana? Khajana is the Sachkhand. So this is an advantage. It's a good incentive if we walk in the Hukam of the Razai. Razai is the Hukam. And Hukam is coming from him. He's generating the Hukam. And if we walk in that, we align with the Hukam, we will ultimately reach our target, where we have come from. Khote Thavarna Pavani Rale Jutani. But there are some who don't accept it. Where are they going to go? They will still be here. They will be considered as jute or impure or false, and they will have to again go through the circle in the Bhavsagar again. So that's why they say Hukam Rajai Chalana, because Hukam Rajai Chalana takes us to the next spiritual stage. There's also an indication that Shaha Challe Vanjariya Likhya Deve Nal. When we come to this, we bring whatever we have written with us. It means if we haven't written anything, we won't come here. There was a problem that we have written something. And if we don't erase that, whatever we have come out, because we were not pure, that's why we are here, we had something within us. He gave it to us, and you say, you go and correct whatever you have written through the gyan of, giving us 5 gyan indras, so that you obtain knowledge and get rid of if it is. So, likhe upar hukam hoy. We kept that. Then we are liable for again cycle. What we have to do? Laiye vatsamal. We have come here to do a trade. We can do the trade and get the naam. That is what we have not come here to just criticize that this has happened. This is all lekha. Why this happened? Why I'm not getting this? 10 bastule pache pave, ek bastakaran bikhot gawave. Is all the lekha which the Jeev normally does, because he has not understood the Gurmat properly. This is what again this been indicated, that Vapari Vanjarya Aaye Vajo Likhai. You have come here to obtain something. Vajo is like a gift or you can say scholarship. The being merchant of the traders have come to gain the profit of Naam. So what we have to do for that? we have to stop everything else. Whatever is happening in order. We shouldn't be worried. Kar kamam sach ki. I should walk on the path of truthfulness. Laha mile razai. If I walk it, then he gives me the reward. The reward comes from the razai. Punji sachi gurmile. If we have obtained, accumulated this, we meet with our mool. Natis tilna tamaye. The Puran Brahm then is in a state of gracefulness, because otherwise pukhya pukhana utri. It continues. If we are in connection with our Gur, our Mool, then that stage is basically gone, and we are basically ready to obtain the blessings. And there is another question in Japji that hukmi hovan akar hukum na kahya jai. So as per my understanding, I have tried to find some English words that hukam is something like that. The divine will seems to have following characteristic. It's dynamic. So it's could be changing every microsecond. It's a constant change of activity and progress. Before someone could describe it, has already changed. It's almost like we say Heisenberg's principle, that if you try to measure it, by the time you measure it, it has gone past the time. It's very natural, it's uninhibited, direct, immediate, rapid. And these are some words that it is very hard to understand. It's almost impossible to understand. It is so extreme. So, but it is there. And if we try to follow what the instructions of Gurbani are, it will be a help to us to realize the hukam. So, and the hukam, what happens to the hukam? Does the hukam continues always? No. The divine will or the hukam ceases and continues again and again. And it's very clearly indicated in Gurbani. It says, Jab akare Krishna disteta, when there was no visible world. It means there is a stage when there is only ad such, but the jugad such is missing. And then there is also an indication in Gauri Sukhmani, Jab tari apan sun samad. So it's very hard to find an English equivalent. I think profound concentration is a close word, that the Puran Brahm is in a state of sun samad. But what happens after sun samad when he has to start the world again? Sasya sabjag sahaj upaya teen pavanik jyoti. Then from sahaj samad he gets into from sun samad he gets into sahaj samad. Sahaj samad is what I could say is state of equipoise. Then from there the Shabad comes into existence. That is the Parbrahm Roop of Puran Brahm, when they are all together creating the Shabad for the creation of universe. And then the universe is created. Within the universe, there are three different realms. There's a Treta, Dwapar, and Kalyu, where the Brahm, who is not there, who has broken out somehow, is in either of these three. So this is what Gurbani is trying to explain, and this is what my understanding is. And we were also discussing last time, Apine ap sajyo. So from sun it has become sahaj. Apine rachyo now. Then he starts to create the Shabad. The Shabad is nothing but Shakti. Shiv Shakti. Aap upay ke. Then karta appe hukum vartai. So firstly from Shiv the Shakti, then the hukam comes in. So dui kudrat saji hai, the kudrat or the visibility or whatever world we see is done at the second stage. And kar asan ditho chao, it means the Sukh Sagar is bigger, the Pav Sagar is smaller, and the Sukh Sagar is controlling the Pav Sagar, because Sukh Sagar is within Pav Sagar. So the control is still with the Sukh Sagar. So this is what my understanding about thing is. Then we have a general question, why do we need a hukam? Why there was a need of a hukam, first of all? If we generally study from any book or any means a simple Google search will tell us that these are the norms, that we want to regulate a society, we want to protect citizens, we want to enforce the rights, and to solve the conflict. So Ranavirji constantly asked about this. He says, how come it happened? So within Gurbani, we can understand that there was a stage possible for him. And this is the word which has been written without a va. There are a lot of words in Gurbani where the word vava, half vava is missing. There are researchers in Gurbani. I've got their books. They have found that this word was in some uh, Gurbani or some you say beads were written with a vava, and that makes more sense to me. That the Jeev has this veto power. He can uh, destroy himself, architect of his own downfall. So the Jeev can at some stage do that, and when he do that, then what happens? He can, it's like a physical change. He can revert back to his original. How? Through Gurbani. But this is again the Gur Shabad. Gur Shabad tells us, Gurgam Gyan Batave Ped. He has, the Gurbani has revealed us a secret that why you are here. Because you are accepting Maya as your basically ruler, or you're following the instructions of Maya. You should be following the instructions of Sachkhand. Ulta rahe, then it becomes, it changes its thought process, and he goes away from Maya, and then he attains the stage of Apang, which is the opposite of Swayapang. So Swayapang and Apang are those two stages which the Jeev can attain, and it's easy for him to revert back provided he follows this path or this mystery or the secrecy which the Gurbani tells him, that then turning away from the Maya, he abides in the unbreakable. So the Purna Brahm is unbreakable and impermeable, so he can go back, and it has been done before. So it's just an effort which we all need to do. Then there's another Shabad which say Kaya andar paap pun dono pai. These were two there, and they have a conflict within them. Dohu milke Srishti pai. The Srishti was created to help them to meet, to sort out their differences. Dohu milke word hai, because the Kaya word says they have to sit together. That was the whole purpose of creation. Nowhere else except this, when we are in body, we can attain liberation. In the other two realms of Dwapar and Treta, he can't get Mukt. The Mukti is only possible in the third one, in Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga is the best Yuga in which he can revert back to his situation, and provided he follows the instructions constantly and consistently. Then Dome Mar Jaye, though both of them have to leave their own habits, then they get one, and then they reach the elm, the real state from where they have originally come. And who is looking after what they are doing? Nanak Duha Siri Khasam Avvarte. The Hukam is looking at us. Nit kar dekhe chalo sabah. He's watching what is being done. How far the Jeev is in the Hukam, how far he's in the instruction of Gurbani. And ultimately, what he does is he gives a judgment in the end. So judgment is a final decision coming from Sachkhand for this Jeev, whether he has to go back from where he came or he has to go through another cycle to get purified. So there were controversies. Whether the controversies have been resolved or not, I think the judgment is done on that very basis. And either you are in the Khajana or you are here as the Shabad we have done before. Okay, let's try to finally describe the one. We say who is the one which ultimately is written in front of Mool Mantar. Yes, he could have written with the letters, but he has stayed away from letters, because if you write this word in letters, it could either be representing femininity, or it could either be representing masculinity, or it could either be representing plural words, some. So one has three meanings in Gurbani. To write absolute one, I think the Pagats has to write just a numeral. They didn't go for alphabets, because alphabetically, if you study Gurbani, Ik will mean either with the onkar, that will mean male. Ik will either mean female without onkar, or Ik with the shari means some. So He's not in these three forms. He's absolute one. So I think that was the only reason, as per my understanding, that he has to opt to write the word in as a numeral. Okay. Let's try to take this word madho and try to describe the one through madho. We have been told that sagal banaspat mein besantar sagal doodh mein kiya. It's very common shabd we use. Unch neech mein jot samani kat kat madho jiyan. In every jeev, the madho is sitting in the kat. So our mool, that's not a Puran Brahm, that's our Brahm. It's sitting in every kat, in the four junis, under Jairus, Seta Jutpuj, the madho is there. He has used the word madho. So what happens next? Patit pavan madho birdhatera. There is another form of madho. What it does, it purifies. It helps to create, it helps to demolish our sins, or our, what you say, the params, the doubts which we have with Sachkhand, which we have within us. So, but this is a different madho. This is one with this nature. It's a Puran Brahm. Tan teve munjan jin ayo har prab mera. He's also known as Har and Prab. So it has got three names so far: Madho, Hari, and Prab. He is the same, but he is in a pure state. And if someone has, this is the one, the ik, and it will have further virtues, which we'll describe later. And we have been instructed. This is for us. The one before this was Puran Brahm. This is for us. Re, Jan, Man, Madho se laiye. That if I put my mind with my Madho, without any sort of tricks, Chaturayina Chaturpuj. Chaturpuj is also word for Madho, and Chaturpuj is also Har and Prab. It's a singular word. It doesn't have four arms. It means it has got an habit of Chaturai, opposite of Chaturai, that it has got an arm of wisdom. It's very consolidated, Chaturpuj. If you want to have an association with the mool, which is Chaturpuj, you have to leave the Chaturais, which you are gained from here and there. Now this is the final Shabad, which will tell us that how we have described one. This is the absolute one. This is the Puran Brahm, and this is the Hukam, the commander. This is a Shabad which tells the difference between the commander and the one who is sleeping here, who is under command. Madho hum aise tu aisa. This is a Shabd from 5th Pasha, Surat Rag. Hum papi tum pap khandan. So Puran Brahm is a pap khandan. And where you live? Niko Thakur Desa. You don't live here in this Chuta Sansar. You have a very beautiful world where you live, what they call Begumpura. He is only attached to us through Hukam, but he has got his Sachkhand, his where there is no problem as such, where everyone loves everyone. So he is a part of that. But that part, that Desh is controlling us. That is a part which is controlling, but he has mentioned that in that stage, your country where you live, where all the Puran Brahms are existing together and generating Hukam, is a very beautiful abode. Then, hum maile to mujal karte. So, hum nirgun tu data. These are the differences between us as Brahms and what is the Puran Brahm doing for us. Hum maile, we are filthy because of Kampro Loma Hankar. You are giving us instructions, sending us Gurbani so that we could be in our state where we came from. Hum nirgun, we are nirguns, tu data. You are the provider, the giver. Then hum murakh tum chatur seane. We are fools and you have all the knowledge. Tu sarb kala ka gyata. Look at that. This is Puran Brahm. This is the one. So further he says, tum sab sajje, sajni vajje. See this thing? The whole of this Pav Sagar was is the responsibility of Puran Brahm. Tum sab saje, saj nivaje, jio pind de prana. Whatever you, whosoever you have sent here as a jeev, you have given him a body and also the breath. So the breath is more important. In Gurbani, we live with our breaths. So when the breath time is over, when the breath stops, we just leave the world. Nirgunyare, gun ko gun nahi koe, tum dan deo mehrwana. So he's asking a dan as a Brahm from Puran Brahm, but Puran Brahm can't give by itself. Puran Brahm has to give it through the power of Par Brahm, through the power of Anhatanad. It is a combined effort of the whole Sachkhand, but each individual is a Puran Brahm. And when they're together, they generate a hukam, which is known as either Anhad Bani, Shabad Guru. Then they act through there. And the whole world works through that hukam. Tum karo pala, hum pala na jano. Tum sarasara dayala. So he's just telling the virtues of Puran Brahm and the shortcomings of the Brahm. And then he said, Tum nidan atal sultan. You are the real emperor. Ji jam sab jache. We are all ji jans. We are just begging a liberation from this, the knowledge to get liberated from you. And if we try to sum up the whole of Puran Brahm, as per my understanding, I will read that the one is very individual. And further, one is having a subset of 8 within it. So one is the supreme entity. One can be described either as Oankar, either as Satnam, either as Karta Purakh, or Nirpo, Nirvair. You can choose any of these words and one can be described. So one in itself has been further given as 8 virtues, which is what Kabirji says, Ashtami Ashtatat Ki Kaya. It's made up of 8 elements, and these 8 elements are Oankar, Satnam. This is only for understanding. I have to write the word Oankar like that because it's not easy otherwise. So this is not any sort of, I'm not trying to distort anything. It's mainly just for understanding that one is supreme. All other elements are within one. And when the one get together, what happens? The final slide I'll show you is this, what my understanding is. That ek mein sarb, sarb mein eka. Everything, oneness in all, and all in one, oneness. So this is how I think Gurmat describes the one. The super one, the power which is coming from the one, they are all together there, if you see. And when we read Japji, it is very clearly written, Eka Mai, Sarb Mein Eka. Where does that Mai come from? Mai is nothing but that odor which is generated from all those sarab, all those micros acting as a macro because they have got oneness in them. And then the whole world is further, means the propagation takes place. Firstly, there's a formulation of plan, and then the propagation, and then the whole system works. And at some time, the whole system stops, and then the Hukam starts again. So this is my understanding. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Anji, thank you, Ji. Thank you very much. Anji, Chetan Ji.
Haji Virji, thank you so much for the presentation. I think Kafi Sare, you touched on a lot of concepts. I have a simple question. In the beginning of the presentation, you touched key. You mentioned this line, Hukam coming from Sachkhand. And even at the end of the presentation, you said, Niko Thakur Desa, yeah, he doesn't live here in Chutha Sansara, he lives in Begumpura. So the question or the confusion I have is, what is Sachkhand? Is it like a physical desh, physical place, or is it a state of mind? If you can help me understand that.
It is a state of mind. See, the whole every jyot is attached to the Akash. Our attachment is to the Akash. Akash is the body of Sachkhand. And from that Akash, which Faridji says, Farida Pum Rangavali, it is full of colors. Manj Visula Bagh. There is some place where, if like an hospital, this Sachkhand, the Pavsagar is created just for us to mend ourselves and go back. So it's a part of that creation. Also, the Hukam uses, the Hakam uses his power to operate this, the whole system. So whichever way, because it's not that, there's nothing in the world which we can say or use an example to describe it. Whatever I describe, it will still be, there's a lot of part which will need to be understood from whatever experience we have gained through Gurbani. But yeah, it's a mental state, because Puran Brahm, there are two stages. There is a stage in Sukhmani says, Man meh aap. It means man is outside, the aap is inside. Then man apne mahe. In the second stage, the man is absorbed in you. So these are the two stages. We are basically sitting at same spot, but there is a difference in consciousness, that our consciousness is low, their consciousness is low. When he says des, he means that I want to attain that sort of stage where you become as a Hakam, not within the Hukam as us Jeeves who are liable to do mistakes. So that's what my understanding is.
ठीक है Virji, thank you so much.
Thank you, Virji. Anji, Ripudaman Virji.
जी Virji, Vaji Khalsa, Vaji Ki Fateh. Thank you very much, Virji, for the presentation. I have a few questions for sure. Just give me a few seconds to scroll through the slides. So in the beginning, you had a slide which was talking about Nau Darwaje and Daswa Mukta and all that. These are all metaphors, right? There's nothing physical about this. This is just a metaphor, right?
No, like Darwaje is an outer physical body. And the 10th is only being, I think, indicated that there's another body within this body, which is the real body. Sarira kehne, e sarira meria. That is a sarira. Nau Darwaje is the sarir.
Okay. Okay. So Dasam Dwar is not the metaphor for our brain, intellectual thinking, our brain power. It's not that. It is actually some inner spiritual body or something like that, huh?
Yeah, then I have normally mentioned as it as an hirda, where you sit and do vichar. I think that's what mentioned as Dasam Dwar. So from where you learn all these things, when whatever you have learned so far, you have somehow sit together with your mind together and attain that. So any understanding comes through there, because man gets closer to the chit and then we formulate something. Could be right or could be wrong. But when we go through Gurbani again and again, then we have a chance to correct it. So yeah, it's not, because brain is a tool of mind. Brain has been a tool given to mind. Mind has got these senses through which it should come and interact with mind in the end. Because Chekar Chegur Chebudes Gurgur Eko. The ultimate power giver is only one. So sometimes you attain knowledge through listening, sometimes you obtain knowledge through seeing, and sometimes you attain through smell or whatever. But ultimately it's being processed at one point. So that is what we could say is that Dasam Dwar Ved.
Okay. So Vichi, you also had a slide where you are talking about Lekha. So Shah challe van jareya, likhya deve naal, likhe upar hukam hoya. So here you're saying there's a distinction between the likha and the hukam. Lekha is it seems the Jeeves, and Hukam is from Parbrahm, the collective. So what is the Lekha again? Could you explain that?
This one, Shah Chale Banjaria Likhya.
Hanji, Hanji.
We, it's there, na Gur Seva te Bhagat Kamai Tabe Manus Dehi Pai. That is our Lekha. That has done, come through Pretirath Jateka. When the Jeev understand that there was a conflict with a Sachkhand, then he begged for a Dehi that I get. And he said, okay, this is what you asked for, this is what you get. But what happens here is when he comes, live chutki lagi Trishna. Rather than that likhya which he should have remembered, he has started writing something else as well. He don't remember that there is something he has already written. He is not gone past that, which he should have remembered. But he started to write out of ignorance something else that, yeah, I did 5 japjis. I did that. I did that. And then Gurbani says, Jabe jane main kish karta. This is the lekha. Lekha chhod, lekha chhute. If he says, whatever has been done was a grace of Shabad on me, then he's out. But when he says, no, I'm responsible for it, I did that, this is where the lekha comes in, as per my understanding. He should have understood the lekha which he has already done in before coming, but he has started writing on forgetting. That's why I say, Laiye vast samal. You are not, you have forgotten, I think they say, but Gurbani will tell you that this is what was written. This is what you promised when you come into the human life. But here you have forgotten and you have started writing something al janjal, which is of no use, which will ultimately keep you here.
So likhe upar hukam hoya, what does it mean? That you, the likha is that you had, the Jeev had asked for the body, and hukam
Yes.
hoya that, okay, fine, go and get the body.
The one I have forgotten, have started writing something else as well. Oh, bhul gaya mainu, the one which was given from Sachkhand, which I have promised to come here. I've forgotten that, but I've started writing something else because of ignorance.
Okay. Is this something similar to in Japji Sahib line that you quoted, Nanak likhya naal?
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to explain. Ki Nanak likhya naal is what I think is what we are writing.
Okay.
Because we have already come to this world with an acceptance. We have forgotten that acceptance and we have started writing something else. So we should stop that.
I see. So this writing something else, does it have anything to do with the principle of karma that we say, jaya ve joge vaise khatoge, that
because
philosophy?
We have a choice of sukrit, dukrit, tharu, karamari. So sukrit, dukrit has to be understood from Gurbani. That what is sukrit and what is dukrit. If you write sukrit is good. Sukrit hi hai ki you have accepted ki yes, when I came with some sort of promise. That's what Gurbani will tell us, because Pita ka janam ke jane poot. The man will never know what promise man did father made, but grandfather will tell you that this is what he said. So asking through grandfather is a solution. Then grandfather tells that, yeah, this is what you did and this is what you should rely on. But because of ignorance, I think the mind get below into all this Kam Kro Lomo, and they started writing his own, which is the Dukrit Karam, which is a hindrance in the path of Mukti.
Okay. And maybe one final question. This is regarding the one. So one you are saying is the Puran Brahm, and the collective. In the last 2 slides you showed that the collective of the Puran, all these ones is Par Brahm. all in oneness, essentially. So the concept of creation, is it being done by the oneness or is it being done by the one?
See, oneness is how you describe, because there I will say oneness, because within oneness there are all ones. All these ones are within oneness, and that oneness is a hukam. That's why they say Vadda Sahib Ucha Thaun. The one is very Vadda. He is living in that Ucha Thaun, but Uche Upar Ucha Now. Because in now, the whole ones have come together as oneness. So this is my understanding of that, that the whole idea is, see, when Japji starts with a very good theme. It starts with one which describes the commander. That this is the commander, but then the shalok starts with Ad Sach. This is the command. So the command has come from a commander.
So, Vijay, when you say commander, are you saying the one or the oneness? It's the one or the collection of all ones?
Commander is one, Puran Brahm. Commander issues a command.
So there are many commanders then.
But still, because they are in oneness, whatever one says, everyone agrees to, they are all together.
But your Puran Brahm is born, right? So this is Ajuni in your slide, you know, the 8 qualities of the Mool Mantra here. So one is Ajuni, but obviously Puran Brahms are born. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji was Puran, he was born, right? So then that means that this definition of 8 does not fit the Puran Brahm, right? It fits the oneness, the collective, because the whole collective is not born.
Yes, but that's why he says, to born you have to split in Man and Chit. There's Puran Brahm never borns. There has to be a Swabhang to be attached to Maya. So until any Jeev attains that state of Swabhang, he's not born. When he's born, he can very quickly, with the effort, with the grace, can revert back to one, and he does that. Has been happening from ages, although rare, but it has happened, and it's an option for us to follow that path. But that's why he says, that I'm individual, I won't address myself as a Parbrahm. I will stay away, because the hukam comes from, because there has to be someone to relay the hukam. Otherwise, how come we will know the hukam? He's a relayer in between. He goes, but then he says, Bahar na hoego fera. He's in that stage of Bahar na hoego fera. Once you are born, you have to die, or physically body has to die. But what is the next stage? Bahar na hoego fera. Bahar hum kahe aamenge. He's mukt from that. So, yeah, there is a stage where you have to, means that's why it says it's all about Bhujna. That he was 1, he was 8, but he's in a special case. He will never be coming back again.
Okay.
In this body.
So, Harinder, can I ask one more question representing Ranavirji maybe?
I think, let me go to other ones and come back to you.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Anji, IJ uncle. IJ uncle. Anji, in the one with you.
Fascinating presentation. A lot of depth to it, and it'll take a lot of thinking to really understand all of it. I did have one quick question. You said something about the Bhagats use only the digit 1 to talk about Parbrahm, because ek and ek have masculine and feminine if you use letters. I did quite understand that, and in Gurbani is of course all written with letters, and you see the words ek and ek many times there too. So could you explain that a little more?
Yeah, means the thing is, just to describe the absolute one within Maya has got some hassles. So they have tried to come because they can attain, first of all this Gurbani is written in poetic form. Why in poetic form? Because if you want to describe any sort of whatever you have seen or whatever you have felt, that is the best form. Because poetry has got, basically you said, within our thinking, a very limitless sort of text. But when you have to describe one, and you will also know that when you write Salok Mahalla, we don't say ik, we say Salok Mahalla Pehla. It's also one over there, but these two ones are different. This one, as per my understanding, was written just to describe the absolute who is away. He's neither male nor female, just to keep the jot away from, although when we write, we always describe Hukam as a male word, but to show whatever within the written text, the ultimate reality we could show, I think he chose one. The absolute one represented by a numeral, and then even Oankar is what? It's also like a logo. He hasn't written the word Oankar as I've written there. He has only written with a 3 and, going up. So he's slowly trying to, as far as I think, trying to bring from there. Then from there, it's all, Satnam. They're all words. But when you read one, ik, sabana jiyan ka ik data, you have written plural and data is male. But in actual, neither is male nor female. But when you explain in Gurbani, you could never come out of these 3 things in the Maya. You have to describe the tense, past, present, future. You have to describe singular, plural. You have to describe masculine and feminine. This is a limit if we want to describe anything within a text. That's why I think he has tried to tell us that the one I'm talking is beyond all these things. But further he is describing, it is only explaining that one, that ik is a data, and sometimes ik de bujhai, that is a feminine word, then the ik changes its form. So that's my understanding, that to describe absolute one within a text, he has used that numeral instead of writing as Sihari, Idi Sihari, or Kakka Onkar Mukta, or Sihari, or these are the 3 forms. There's a Mukta, Onkar, or Sihari. All these 3 will further, generate more questions. So we have tried to keep us one absolute one.
Anji, okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Pradeep Uncle Montreal.
Hanji, Bhagavad Gita Khalsa Vaji Ki Fateh Ji. Good presentation. Mera ek question hai video sirf, I need little bit explanation. और उन्होंने लिखा सीगा कि पूंजी साची गुर मिले तातिस तिल ना तमाए. गुर मिले, पूंजी साची, फिर गुरु रारे दे आगे औंकड़ा, that we have to stop. Guru मिले नातिस तिल ना तमाए. केड़े गुरु दी गल, about what guru they are talking about here? Gurbani Shabd Guru, or like we have a ritual when we have a guru and we take a guru mantra? What is the difference in 2? Or is directly mean to Gurbani as guru, or whatever we become a guru wale with the ritual as we take the Amrit Shah kind of that. So what is the difference in 2 lines here?
When we read from Gurbani, there are 2 very distinct words, Gur and Guru.
Yeah.
Punji Sachi is nothing but the Bhakti you have accumulated. The knowledge of the truth is the Sachi Punji, which goes with you. The rest of the Maya, which is visible, the money, everything, Puttar Kalattari, we read it, they don't go. They are not a Sach Punji. Sach Punji is the knowledge we have obtained. And who has obtained it? The Man Buddhi has obtained it.
But Guru Mila.
Gur Mila.
Yeah,
Gur Mila is your mood.
Yeah, Guru Mila. Means
Yes.
when we find the Guru or Guru find us, or when we meet the Guru, how we differentiate these things here? I'm a little bit confused here. Tilnatama is fine, then he become out of the clutches of the Maya. Once you are in the lap of Guru, or Guru is with you, then Maya cannot do anything, no harm.
The Guru is always with me. Guru mere sang sada hai nalle.
Right.
But I have never ever concentrated on that before. That's what he's trying to tell. But now I have obtained a Sachi Punji. Through that Sachi, through that knowledge, through the contemplation, I have met my own Mool Gur. There is a Shabad, as we say, Gur ka darshan dekh dekh jiva. That's also not Guru there. Gur ke charan toye toye pima. कहन वाला कौन है? कहन वाला हैगा the man buddhi. Ki when I obtain the Guru in the knowledge form, Gur is in the knowledge form, then the Gur will meet the Guru. But firstly, man buddhi has to meet the Gur, then it becomes Puran Brahm. Then this Puran Brahm meets the Shabad Guru. Until it is Puran, that's why I said Pure Gur ka Sunupadesh.
Right.
You have to obtain a state of Pura Gur. Pura Gur is this Punji Sachi. If I have gained the Sachi Punji from within this Gurbani, then I will meet my Mool. And when you meet your Mool, then you have no Til and Tama. When you don't meet your Guru, then you say Pukhya Pukhna Uttari is for a Brahm who hasn't met his Gur. But the one who has met is now Na Tis Til Na Tamai. He's gone far, gone above Maya, because he was drowned. He has come to a surface. When you come to surface, then you sit in the boat which is Guru. Guru is Jahaj. But you were drowned, then you come to surface with Gurbani. When you come to surface, he pulls you up. But from drowned to surface is all the effort of Jeev. From surface to take you, put you in the ship, the Guru, that's Guru's responsibility, that's his grace. So two different words. Guru is plural, Gur is singular. I have to meet my Gur. When I meet my Gur, I am part of the Guru, which is nothing but like, army. Army is a singular word, but army is composed of soldiers. So Guru has got all the Gurs with him. All the Gurs are a part of that army. Khalsa, Kalpur ki Khoj. He's a soldier in that army of Guru.
So it's a collective word. It means it's a collective.
Guru indicate, Hanji. But because in Hindi, the word Guru can be associated with anyone. But Gurbani doesn't associate Guru with anyone. Gurbani associates Guru with that ultimate who is running the whole show, who is running the whole system is Guru, and it is composed of Gurs. All the Bhagats are sitting there, and they are a part of oneness, and then they are relaying the order from there. This is my understanding.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. I think we have to have some time later on. Then, what's the Guru Mantra when we take? How is that related to this Guru? Anyway, that we can leave for other time, another topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Hanji, Meena Benji. Meena Benji. Hanji, IG uncle, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hanji, any questions or observation?
Well, it's a very involved, very detailed presentation and discussion, and I'll have to think about it, process it a bit before I can comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Uncle ji. Hanji, Riputamavirji, you had one final question.
Hanji Veerji, yeah, getting off the mute. So actually, this goes back to what Rana Veerji used to ask. Maybe a year ago, he had asked this question saying that if Hukam is the same, right? Why is it that we all are born with different, basically different capabilities, circumstances, situations, understandings, biases, whatever you want to call that, right? So the essential question was therefore that is therefore Hukam in some shape or form personalized, that starting point, initial condition for each one is different. If it is different, why is it different?
So Hukam is uniform and it is same for everyone, but our interaction with Hukam is at different levels. Because we have a man in us, the man interacts with Hukam. Everyone's man interacts with Hukam at different level. That's what I think. And that's why there's a difference between our thinkings, the way we interact, because of the man. But there's, I think, never a term in Gurbani that sab mein jyot. The chit is all the same. It's the man. The size of man is different in all of us. And that's why we see the same Hukam slightly different.
But what made this man different in all of us, right? What is it that made it different? When all of us were, to begin with Puran Brahm, we were all one and we became Saibhang. But what is it that made it different for all of us, the man itself? Because the starting condition is very different for all of us.
Yeah, we all were Puran Brahm at one stage and we could all be now Puran Brahms at another stage. But within this, there is a stage, means it's, Gurbani only says like the best shabad I know is, Narpatek Singhasan Soya Supane Paya Pikhari. He is still in Sachkhand, but his state is different to the others because he is now sleeping and within his sleep, he has started a dream. If someone breaks his sleep, automatically his dream will break and he will be where he was before. So I think Gurbani is doing all the action to break his dream. But before that, the level of our unconsciousness or whatever I call sleep, I think is all very different. There is no two faces in this world very similar or exact. I think there will be no two wisdoms or minds which will be really, they will all tend to differ from each other in one respect or the other. Because that is how the mind interacts with Rajotamo Sato, how the mind has got, first of all, these three, how much is he in Rajo, how much is in Sato. He has got his own, which will be impossible to explain, but certainly he's not one. You can't say he's half thief. When he's broken, he's broken. Whether he's broken 0.5% or he's broken 90%, he will be considered as a broken. When he's complete, he will be considered as a complete. So that's, I think, the best possible answer I could give because of our mind. How much my mind has accepted the truth and how much it is away from truth will make us all very, very different.
Okay. Thank you, Virji. I think we are almost out of time. So thanks a lot for the presentation and thanks everyone else for joining. So, and we will continue next week with IG Uncle concluding on the Hukam. So आज पर समाप्ति करते हैं। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।